Hello and welcome to my channel. This story is What If Naruto Got Reincarnated into My Little Pony Part 1. If you like this story, please consider liking and subscribing. Now let's begin this fanfic, shall we? Naruto was facing off against Sasuke. He didn't know why Sasuke was so selfish. Why would he go to Orochimaru? Naruto thought to himself, I have to stop Sasuke. I promised Sakura. And I never break a promise. Naruto's clothes were tore up from fighting Sasuke. He even had to use the Kyuubi's chakra because Sasuke was using that cursed mark Orochimaru gave him. Sasuke was annoyed. How could a dobe like Naruto be on par with him, an elite Uchiha? And while he was using the curse mark, Sasuke snarled and charged up his last attack with all his power and shouted Chidori. The attack sounded like chirping birds, and instead of the usual blue lightning it was black. Naruto signed he didn't want it to come to this, but he reluctantly crossed his fingers and summoned shadow clones. He started to charge up his attack for the final clash. Naruto shouted Rasengan as he and Sasuke charged at each other. Both attacks clashed, creating a shockwave. Sasuke was using all his power so he can kill Naruto, but Naruto was holding back. He didn't want to kill Sasuke. He still considered him his friend. Kakashi sensed a chakra explosion and felt winds blow around. He headed to the location just in time to see Naruto with Sasuke's hand through his chest. Kakashi was in shock. The technique he taught Sasuke was used to kill his sensei's son. He let out tears and stared. Walking over, Sasuke was unconscious with severe chakra exhaustion, and Naruto was laying on the ground coughing up blood with a massive hole in his chest where his heart should be. Kakashi went to Naruto and propped his head up, and sniveled while holding him and shakily said, I'm sorry Naruto, it's my fault. If I hadn't taught him that jutsu you wouldn't be in this state. Naruto looked at Kakashi and smiled, and said, Kakashi-sensei, it's not your fault. Sasuke was the one who did this. He betrayed our village. My only hope is he gets properly punished for his actions. I know the civilian council will do anything to stop him being punished, but you can punish him and so can the pervy sage and Ba-chan. Naruto started coughing violently. His vision was going blurry and he couldn't hear anymore. It was just silence. He couldn't hear Kakashi saying for Naruto to wake up, nor could he hear his heartbeat. Naruto thought, am I dead now? And he blacked out. Kami-sama felt sad that her darling died from a betrayal of his friend. She loved the boy, but Naruto didn't know about her. She walked up to Naruto's soles and said, I'm sorry my love, and kissed him on the lips. Naruto started to disperse into particles, and she said, although you won't remember your old life, I will send you to a world where you will eventually get the bonds you deserve. And she also whispered lowly, and hopefully we will see each other again, darling. She blushed. Kakashi had just explained what happened to Tsunade. She was crying and also furious. She thought Naruto didn't deserve any of this. He was kind and caring, but it all got shoved in his face by that Uchiha. Tsunade ordered the Ambu to call an emergency meeting, and also ordered for Ibiki to be brought as well. She knew the perfect punishment for him. She smirked evilly. Time skipped 10 minutes. The council, Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Ibiki were in the council chambers, with Sasuke in the middle of the room tied in rope, gagged, and with seals to stop his chakra and to restrain his movements, and Naruto's lifeless body was in the room too, in a coffin. When the Shinobi Council saw Naruto, they were shocked. They let out some tears in sadness and respect. Both they knew Naruto's burden, and also knew Naruto's parents. Jiraiya knew what had happened to Naruto. He saw Naruto's name be erased from the Toad summoning contract. Jiraiya was furious. His godson was killed by this traitor that Naruto considered his friend. It disgusted him. Then he heard Tsunade start to explain what happened. Time shipped 10 minutes. Tsunade just finished explaining. and she said, "Sasuke, your crimes against this village and Naruto are unacceptable and you will be punished." Tsunade starts to say his punishment. "Sasuke, you talk about how you wish to avenge your clan, am I correct?" Sasuke, who was awake now nodded. He knew he was going to get away with this anyway thanks to the civilian council. Tsunade continued, "Your first punishment will be that you will have all your tenketsu will be destroyed and you will never get to be a shinobi again." Sasuke was shocked hearing that. How could she do that? He is an elite Uchiha. I was only a clanless orphan who died, he thought. He was fuming. Evening, when the Dobi's dead, he is still humiliating him. He gritted his teeth. The civilian council heard his first punishment. They were outraged. They screamed at the Hokage. "Tsunade, you can't do this, he is an Uchiha," another councilman said. "Yeah, who cares if he killed an clanless orphan?" Another shouted. "He did the village a favor and killed the demon like the fourth Hokage wanted." After the comments, Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakahi, and the Shinobi Council were furious. Then Tsunade slammed her hand on the desk shouting, "Shut up," while releasing killing intent. "Now Sasuke, you always say how you are going to restore your clan, don't you?" Tsunade smirked at Sasuke heavily, while Sasuke slowly nodded scared. "Okay, your second punishment will be that you will have all your reproductive organs removed so you can no longer have kids." She smirked evilly, and so did Jiraiya, with all the clans too. Tsunade glared at the civilian council so they wouldn't say anything, and ordered Ibiki to take Sasuke away and to start his punishment. Sasuke was beyond scared at this point. He thought nothing could happen to him because he had the council, but now he was about to have his chakra coils broken and he won't be able to restore his clan. He started to struggle and scream while being dragged off to TNI by Ibiki. Time skip. One day, in a mysterious forest in Equestria, in cave, we see a baby alicorn which was in a deep sleep. The alicorn was pure black with purplish black wings. His tail was a marvelous swirl pattern which perfectly blended from black to blonde. The alicorn's manner was stunning too. It was the same stunning colors as the tail but long and tied into a ponytail at the end. The alicorn's horn went from black to purple, and the alicorn had big eyelashes that covered most of his eyes. The eye lashes were pure white, and his eyes were a stunning purple. The alicorn also had a cutie mark. It was a black circle with swirls that went from black to the same blonde his manner and tail were. The alicorn also wore enchanted jewelry, which grew with his body so he never will have to get new ones, and he also couldn't take them off. The jewelry were horseshoes made of pure gold with a massive purple diamond on each horseshoe. He wore a massive golden necklace, which had an even bigger, purple diamond. The little alicorn also wore a marvelous golden headpiece that surrounded his horn, with big purple diamonds encrusted into it. The headpiece also had thin gold chains that went to his mouth and dropped below his head, so if he were to move they would move a cell. The ends of the chain were also encrusted with purple diamonds too. The alicorn was slowly waking up. It opened his eyes to see a cave which had magic stones illuminating the cave in dazzling light. The alicorn was slowly trying to get up, but something was wrong. It's as if he didn't know how to use his own body. The alicorn in question spoke, where am I? What is this place? Why can't I remember anything but my name? Naruto." Naruto slowly brought his hoof to his head. He had a massive headache. Naruto slowly tried to stand up again, but struggled. He slowly tried to walk. His legs were wobbling under his weight. Naruto saw a pond next to his, so he slowly walked to it and leaned towards the water to look at himself. In his eyes he looked stunning, but he didn't know what he was, which confused him. All he knew was his name. It scared him, but he knew there was nothing he could do about it. Naruto thought to himself, I have to get used to my walking and eventually running. So he started walking around the cave, exploring. While he was walking, the cave was relatively small, but big enough for him. It had a water and grass and flowers which he though tasted wonderful, but Naruto didn't see anything else but himself. Time skip 1 year. Naruto hasn't grown much, maybe a few centimeters at most, but that didn't mean much. He was really young. Naruto has gotten used to walking and running. Naruto was still confused on how he got all his jewelry, but he wasn't looking a gift horse in the mouth. Naruto thought about the time he went to explore outside the cave. It made him shiver. There were scary creatures out there, so he never wanted to leave the cave again. Then Naruto heard something at the entrance of his cave. Naruto went to hide behind the magic stones. He saw a lot of creatures that looked similar to him and 2 creatures that looked identical to him, but they were female. One was really tall and beautiful, with a flowing mane and tail with beautiful colors. She was also pure white. It made him blush. The other was half the other one's size but double Naruto's size. Naruto also blushed because of her too. She was pink, with a beautiful hair, and mane were beautiful colors. Both of the creatures also wore similar jewelry to him. Naruto was really curious, but he has never spoken to anything before. He only spoke in his head, which caused him to be extremely shy. Then he heard the smaller one speak. Princess Celestial, why are we going to this cave in the Ever-Free Forest? Naruto was lost. What is the Ever-Free Forest? Is it this place where the scary monsters are? He shivered remembering them. He heard the one called Princess Celestia speak. Cadance, we are here because I felt a magic source here, and we have to investigate it. The Celestia sensed it, the same magic source that appeared a year ago. She felt it behind the rocks. Princess Celestia turned to the magic stones and saw the glimpse of a unicorn, which quickly hid behind the stones. She started to walk over slowly. Naruto was terrified. The creature was walking towards him. One moment she wasn't looking at him, the next moment she turned towards him. It scared him. He didn't think she saw him. Naruto was too scared to do anything. All he could do was make himself small and hope she didn't look too closely in the shadow. Naruto was leaking a bit of tears. While curled into a ball, he didn't want to die. That's why he never left the cave after that day. Princess Celestia was at the magic stones where she saw the unicorn. She walked around and looked at she was shocked. She thought to herself, how is this possible? There has never been a male alicorn. She saw he was scared. She summed up to herself that if he was here, then he had never had any contact with anyone, because the Ever-Free Forest is too dangerous for pony and unicorns to venture in. Celestia slowly lowered herself to Naruto and said, "It okay, little one, I'm not going to hurt you." When Naruto heard that, he relaxed himself a bit, but he was still extremely shy, so opened his eyes a tiny bit and blushes. The beautiful pony was staring at him. Celestia saw his blushed and smiled at him. Naruto slowly uncurled himself and looked at her. He remembered her name from before. He said to himself in his head, "This is Princess Celestia. She is majestical." Princess Celestia was about to speak, but then she heard her student speak. "Princess Celestia, what are you doing?" Princess Cadance was walking towards Celestia. When she got to her, she saw him, an alicorn like he and Celestia. She was shocked, but also saw how cute he was. She screamed kawaii and glomped him. She was squeezing him, kissing his. She was enamored at his beauty and cuteness. Naruto was blushing. The person called Princess Cadance was hugging and kissing him. It was too much for High. He passed out. Cadance saw, but still wouldn't let go. It was love at first sight for her. She didn't want to let go. She wanted him to be hers. Then she heard Princess Celestia. "Cadance, please let go of the young alicorn." Princess Cadance pouted and shook her head cutely. No, he's mine. Celestia signed and used her magic to separate them. She carried on using her magic to hold the young alicorn. Guards, get the carriage ready so we can return to the palace. Princess Celestia walked to the carriage with Naruto and lowered him. In the carriage opposite her, he was passed out. It looked like he wouldn't wake up for several days, but it was expected. He must have been stressful meeting creatures that look exactly like him, and being glomped by one of them. She signed. Then she saw Cadance, snuggling, cuddling him. She had picked Naruto up with her hoofs and placed him on top of her and cuddled him tightly, and slowly fell asleep. Celestia thought to herself, I've never seen Cadance act like this before. She may be overly kindy. She id smothering the young alicorn like she is obsessed or in love. Or maybe that's it, love at first sight. I mean, the young alicorn is a stunning beauty. When Celestia thought about what she said, she blushed. She looked back at Cadance and smiled. She saw her kissing and hugging the youngling again in her sleep and chuckled with a blush still there. She was slightly jealous she couldn't do that. The guards protecting and escorting Princess Celestia stated they had arrived at the castle in Canterlot. She used her magic to pick up Princess Cadance and the young alicorn. She separated them, making Cadance wake up and pout. She chuckled to herself. She walked to a room close to her chambers and placed Naruto in the bed. She saw Cadance sneaking into the bed with the alicorn and used her magic to pick her up and take Cadance to her own chambers. Cadance was still pouting with her hooves crossed. She was also plotting in her mind on how to get to her darling's room. Yes, darling. Cadance loved the boy so much she claimed him as hers. The moment she saw him, she felt herself be tucked into bed by Celestia, and slightly smiled. She loved her Aunt Celestia. She pretended to go to sleep and Celestia went to her chambers to sleep because she had to raise the sun early tomorrow. When Celestia left, Cadance opened her eyes and sneakily opened the door and looked around. She was walking on the tip of her hoofs, so she wouldn't make a lot of sound. As she arrived at her darling's chambers, she was blushing while giggling. She did it. She found him. Cadance slowly opened the doors, walks in and closed them. She walked over to the bed and climbed in. She snuggled up to Naruto and her hooves started wandering around his body. She blushed and stopped, and thought in her mind, this should wait till we're married. She blushed heavily and just placed Naruto on top of her and wrapped herself around him, and kissed him, and said good night darling, and slowly went to sleep. The end. Thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, please ask in the comments, or look in my description. Peace.